unlock the car in my own garage.
We are live.
All right, it
We're
is
live.
6:30, so let's call the meeting to order and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. You did that on purpose, didn't you? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the Union City Community Schools Board meeting. Our meeting agenda is available for you to follow. The expectation for our board meeting is to follow this agenda closely. We operate under the Open Meetings Act and utilize Robert's Rules of Order to govern our discussion and decision-making process. There is an opportunity for public comment during our set agenda. We welcome the public to express their opinions during this time of our agenda. If there are questions about the agenda or the board meeting process, please seek out one of the board members for clarification. Do we have any addition or deletion of items to the agenda? No? Okay. Moving on to public comment. This is a section of the meeting in which the public may make comments or share their opinions about items on the agenda. We ask you to limit your comments to no longer than 5 minutes per person to allow others the opportunity to speak. This is an opportunity for the board to listen to your concerns. It is not board practice to act on the concerns voiced during this meeting to allow for the board to do further research. Do we have any public comments for this speaking time?
Well, it's School Board Appreciation Month. I heard of this today. You've worked so very hard, I really want to say. Wanted to write you all a rhyme, if I please just may, but did I have time to do this? Gonna have to say no way. You all work so hard at your jobs, each and every day. You still attend these meetings at times until 9 o'clock, you gotta stay. Making tough decisions, do the correct things, you must pray, but you receive $25 a month, that's some serious pay. You're each all on committees, takes up even more time for you. Sometimes you're even asked to go to workshops too. Making decisions about our budget, something of which I have no clue, but building a new school would be easier if we had more revenue. Making decisions about students and hiring new faculty. Having closed sessions at times, sometimes interrupted by me. Sorry. We recognize School Board Appreciation Month each January. A small thank you to all. You're doing awesome, we'd all agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice rhyme.
That's right. I'm a math teacher.
Thank you for interrupting recently.
Any other comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to the election of officers. We can do this one of two ways. If everyone's happy with what they want to do or what they've been doing and want to continue, we can do it as one motion to continue as before. If there's someone that would like to have a different position, then we would need to do them separately. So I leave that up to you guys to decide how you want to handle that.
I'll make a motion to continue the same officers we had in 2024 and 2025. Support.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed the same. Motion carries.
Congratulations,
All right. Next are a couple of different consent groupings. The first one is board bylaws. This is all of number 5. So it goes on to the next page as well. And so we are going to vote on that all at one time. And I would entertain a motion to pass these bylaws.
Make a motion. Second.
Discussion? None? Okay.
See a reason to change them, do you?
Yeah, I was going, nothing has changed.
No, nothing has changed. We just have to approve them for this year. All right. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Next is going to be consent agenda number 6 on page 3. And I would entertain a motion to approve these also.
So move.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. That is approved. Move on now to our regular consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve that as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
Congratulations to the Brats, and also, the Greenfield Village, I thought the request was very thorough. So whoever did that, kudos.
Any
I wouldn't recommend any further, don't make it any harder than it was, I guess, but I thought it was well done.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Correspondence. Do we have any correspondence for this evening?
None that I'm aware of.
Okay. Next is action items. We are going to be adjourning to a closed session to discuss a student petition. And so I would entertain a motion to go into closed session at this time.
So moved.
And discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Let's ask you to step out, and we'll let you know when we're ready to bring it back into closed session.
Because they just waited right out there. So. That's why.
Yep. Andrew did.
Oh.
I keep wanting to write you down as Anthony, and I know that's not right, and I'm like,
You were
what
called
does that
worse.
mean?
You were never
I'm
here
sure.
when Scott interrupted our closed sessions. You did it like 2 or 3 times.
I was not.
Because
There was
the
an
copy
inside
machines
joke
in there,
there.
he would
It was
like
funny nonetheless.
open the door,
Oh.
like Kramer fall into the room basically.
Did Mr. Cass, did he go that way or this way?
I believe he went that way.
I
That went
think
from
Shut
like
that
one
door.
of-
you might want to shut that, if you don't mind grabbing that, that'd be good. Oh, there he is. He went through the door. Do we need to shut that
Shut
door?
that door? Or,
Okay, Scott makes copies.
yeah.
Yeah.
You never know who's gonna make copies.
So-
moved the key under the door slowly.
I think this was like a cover over it.
You guys can sit in front, that way we can,
Some of them are electronic too, so you can put whatever, picture you want.
Screen, yeah. You can have your face on.
What's
You
that?
can have your face on
Oh, look at that.
That would be entertaining.
for all of our closed sessions.
I like, good idea, Pat.
Maybe we should put Scott Kane.
Okay.
entertain a motion to go back into open session.
So moved. Support.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion carried. Now we will vote on, entertain a motion regarding the petition for reinstatement.
I'll make a motion to deny the petition of reinstatement and welcome you to repetition no earlier than August 1st of 2025.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. All right. We will move on now to financials. I will entertain a motion to approve the financials for November 30th, ending November 30th, 2024, and December 31st, 2024, since we did not meet in December.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by
No, aye.
saying aye.
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 Yeah, nothing.
All those opposed, same. Sorry, did I cut off?
No, I just,
Okay.
I didn't like the last one. It
Do we need to take that back?
no,
You didn't speak up fast.
I'm still, I don't like having to do those things, and so emotionally I'm still coming down from that. So
Oh,
it's
sorry.
nothing to do with,
Well, that's
Okay.
not fun.
I'm not changing my vote, I have to kind of,
Okay, we gotta hit
because
new
those are,
space. Okay.
those are emotional decisions, and
I know.
there's a lot behind them, and
It is.
I feel like we should talk about, you know, in the discussion so that everyone knows what's going on, but that is not the appropriate thing to do, but it just,
Right.
you know. Anyway,
Okay.
I'll be fine from now on.
You're okay?
Yeah.
All right. All right, so that motion is passed. Back on now to retirement. Marcy Mead is retiring, and she's been here for 30 years. So I would entertain a motion to accept her retirement letter.
So moved.
I sadly support.
Discussion?
Thank you, Marcy, it's a long time.
Yes, thank you,
Incredible.
Mrs. Mead. You are the best.
Yep.
She's my neighbor too, and a little known fact.
She was one of the first people we met when we moved here.
Aw.
At Fabiano.
All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We say it sadly.
Yes.
All opposed, the same. Motion carries. All right. Recommendation to change from Neola to Troon for board policies. Board action is required to approve a policy review of current board policies and transfer policy subscription to Troon Law Firm. Chris, do you want to say anything before we make a motion?
Yeah, I can just say that my recommendation that I gave you, and I shared that in the packet, is to switch to Troon for board policies. A number of districts in the state have transferred to Troon, several locally, and have had good experience. I've looked over the policies that they have. Troon tends to have, because they are our attorney, they are very aware of the changes in the law in Michigan. And too many times when I'm speaking with them, or at sessions that they put on at the ISD, they come speak at the ISD a couple of times, or at conferences when they talk about changes in the law, they will say, this is something you need to look out for in your policies. You should talk to your policy provider about this. And if you subscribe to Troon policies, it's already included, basically. They handle those things. And when they give me advice on the phone about a situation, they will many times say, well, I'm not sure what's in your policies, because we're in Neola, and so they don't, they're not aware of exactly what is in our policies. And in the 4 years when I've worked with Neola, I've worked with a gentleman from Neola, is the only person I've had contact with. He's a former superintendent from a district in Michigan, and he comes in and we go through the policies, etc. But when you work with Troon on these things, you're actually talking to attorneys, and I would feel more comfortable if I was dealing with the attorneys on this. It's been something I've started and stopped doing several times since I've been superintendent, is to review the policies, because when I've gone to them, I've found things that were outdated in different places. And I've wanted to go through them, and I've started going through them one at a time, but I always run into questions that I have. Well, okay, this doesn't look right to me, but if I change this, what does that mean? Do I need to have this checked legally? Well, then I would feel like I would need to have our attorneys review it, and that creates another whole situation. If every single policy I'm wanting our attorney to look at, and it just, to me, it provides a better fit if our policies are through TRUN. The way the transition would work is, if we decide to go with them for the policy service, then they would start out by providing us with their templates of what the policies look like, and then we would begin to work through those with a committee, going through making any specific edits that needed to be made specific to our district, putting in our own district information and where it needs to be in different places, so that they're customized for our district. And then that would be done over the course of anywhere from 3 to 4 months. And we would have a board subcommittee that would work on that with myself and Patrick and probably some of the other administrators would take time to look at that. Once we have those transitioned over, then it's just a matter of approving the new TRUN policies and eliminating the other policies to make the transition over.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, so I will entertain that motion to transfer policy subscription to TRUN.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion.
Pretty substantial financial cost to do that. Do you have any idea the savings over time and not having to call a lawyer to make changes to the policy, and how much we spend on Neola, and is that, I understand it's easy and it's nice, but it's also a lot of money, so I guess my question is.
Well, to me, it's not just that it's easy and it's nice. That those are my concerns. My concerns is that our policies match what we're doing and match what the law in Michigan says. Neola is based out of Ohio. I believe TRUN has a better grasp of the law and what the law says in Michigan, and I want to make sure our policies align with the law. And that's my concern, not the easy and nice part. And yes, it is some upfront, some dollars to make the transition over, as it is with most times when you transition service providers and things. But I think in the long run, the savings in terms of time and the benefits of being confident that our policies match, what the law in Michigan says, and can be supported by our attorneys if we run into somebody contesting one of our policies or an action made based on our policies. I'm more confident that we will save ourselves potentially money down the road in the long run by making sure our policies are accurate.
We're doing a similar thing with the ordinance book for the township. It's very outdated. There's sections that reference a section that aren't valid anymore. They're illegal. So we're pushing right now for the board to approve funds for that. Basically the same thing.
And the cost in perpetuity is similar, TRUN versus?
TRUN appears a little cheaper. We're paying between, I think you had said what?
4,000 to 5,000.
4,000 to 5,000 a year for Neola annually, and for TRUN it was 27. I think was in the, and that's on the high end. If there aren't very many updates, and one benefit for the board, by the way, is that TRUN generally does only one policy update a year, and it's done in July.
Let's vote now.
Not twice yearly, once yearly. So.
The ISD has them too, correct?
The ISD is with TRUN now, so Battle Creek Public and Harper Creek and They're up to 150 some districts in Michigan, I believe, last I was aware.
So we make sure the guy that said we could levy more than 1 mil for.
He's retired. I
Okay,
can
good.
tell you that. I know
So
that.
if he's not on the board that does it, then I'm in favor of this.
We have long memories,
I was
don't
not-
we?
I was not a fan
Let me
of
put it
that.
this way. I am not aware of, I'm sure there are, but I am not aware of a district in Michigan that does not have Troon as their attorneys.
Can I say something?
Absolutely. That's up to the board president.
Okay.
Yes, please, share.
So, as you know, the state likes to just throw things out there sometimes, and then we have to figure out what the law means and how to administer it and everything. Neola has never ever reached out to our school district for help with that, and Troon, who we don't even have policies with, has reached out to all the school districts willing to help us come up with a policy and things for whatever the new law might be. So, me personally, it also is very beneficial for me too to make sure that I'm following what I should follow,
Mhm.
because they work specifically with Michigan and Neola does not, so
It
they don't
has-
quite follow up the same.
It has been a regular occurrence that we will get a notice from Troon that says, the law has changed, we need to change the policy to reflect that, and the policy update will be out next week. If you're not with Troon Policies, you need to check with your policy provider, and we could go for, I don't know how long with Neola and not hear a thing, unless we reach out to them. Or maybe a month later, we might hear something from Neola. They are always behind, and sometimes it relates to things that could create a significant issue for us.
Right.
I've heard enough.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. We now move on to the portion of our program today that's going to star Patrick McCurry.
I don't know about star, but I am up
He
here.
sounds
so
like a celebrity now.
I know, well, he's
Made us up
right
super
there.
excited.
Right
Yeah.
tie.
Yeah, he looks really super. Are you Clark Kent?
I wish, trust me.
Okay.
I think my wife also wishes I was that super. Unfortunately, no. Just to give a little background, I'm going to be presenting some information on the community survey that we ran this year. We've ran them previously, but this year we're kind of more intentional about our approach to it. We went before the school year started, myself, principals, counselors, to kind of figure out how can we get the best input from the community, what input do we want, how can we align it in K-12 so we can see how students are growing throughout the building, throughout the grade levels, to try and get some better information about how does our community view the school themselves, how are we doing on a variety of different topics. And we put together multiple different surveys that we've given before to try and come up with one survey we could give, so it wasn't going to be multiple surveys we could provide the community. We could really just focus on trying to get as many respondents as we could for this one survey in the fall. And we tripled the respondents we had last year, so we had much more input, so it's great to have all that information, which makes it a little bit easier to have some confidence in the numbers that I'm sharing with you, knowing that we had such an uptick in the amount of participants that we had. The first one that I want to share is that the community members felt the students feel safe, their students feel safe at the school. 100% of our elementary school respondents said yes, their students feel safe at the school. So I know we've talked in the past about things we would like to do with secure vestibules and other things in our building, but the fact is that our community believes that our schools are doing all we can to make our students safe in the buildings. With 100% of the elementary schools, I thought that was fantastic. But we also see 91% of the middle school and 83% of the high school also fall in line with that. So still very strong numbers. 100% just really jumped out to me in this day and age with what safety is at schools. It's impressive to see that. In addition, 98% of our elementary school families, 96% of middle school, and 94% of high school families agree or strongly agree that their student feels safe going to and from school. So the transportation aspect is also extreme levels of safety for students. Across all three buildings, there's an average of 98% of our families agree that their students are able to learn in their classrooms. We've been going through building process, seeing what it would look like to make some upgrades to our buildings, our facilities to better increase learning, but the 98% says that we are doing the most of what we have right now. They believe students can still come into the buildings and learn. We know we want to make upgrades to science facilities and other things, but our teachers are really doing a fantastic job of providing opportunities for our students to learn in the settings that we currently have for them, and our community is seeing that. The next bullet point is families feel welcome at their student's school and comfortable talking to the teachers. across the district, 94% of families agree or strongly agree that they feel welcome at their students' schools. Similarly, 94% of families across the district agree or strongly agree that they feel comfortable talking to teachers at their students' schools. So the access to teachers, the ability to have conversations with them, whether it be just seeing them in the parking lot at a sporting event or about their students' grades, over 90% of our community believe they can talk to students' families or students' teachers about that. Families believe that teachers have high standards of student achievement. 95% of elementary, 96% of middle, and 88% of high school families agree or strongly agree that the teachers at the child's school have high standards for their achievement. In addition, 98% of elementary, 94% of middle school, and 88% of high school families agree or strongly agree that teachers at the school promote academic success for all students. So the idea that we have these high expectations for them, we believe all students can achieve them, and the community is seeing that in our teachers as well. So it's a great reflection of what our staff is currently doing here at Union City and communicating that to the community members to see that we are trying our best to get students to the highest levels that we can every day here in our schools. The last one that I want to include is the most important factors for families when choosing this school are. The top one is obviously convenience of location. The district you live in is probably the closest school to you. It's probably where your kids are going to go. So that was the top respondent. But the next four were tradition, safety, quality of teachers, principal, and staff, and the high expectations for the curricular focus of the programs. So all four other great things that really uplift a lot of the great work that our staff is doing. Teachers, counselors, administrators are trying their best every day. Our community is seeing that. So it's great for us as a staff to see these results, saying that what we're doing is beneficial. Now how can we grow that even further going forward? Overall, I thought these survey results demonstrated a commitment to student success, family engagement, and positive school climate that we're trying to achieve here at Union City. So that's all I have for you today.
With all that information, and that's all like great numbers and things like that, but I know you do these too so that you can see if there's an area that you want to identify to work towards. Have you identified any goals using this that you want to work towards to improve the number?
Yes, so one thing we've looked at, there's the one about school communication. We've had conversations about that in the fall. We thought if we're going to ask a question and we get poor results or good results, we want to be able to act on them either way. And the communication piece was one we knew we probably would get lower results on. One thing we worked with Mr. Katz and through Power Schools to try to create one communication platform for, rather than having teacher by teacher, building by building, having different communication tools and needing different apps or different emails to check. But if we could streamline that into one place we could go to get all your school information, that could increase the communication we have as well, because you wouldn't have to be checking so many different sources to figure out what's going on in the building, what's going on with sports, what's going on across the street. We were able to streamline that process. That's something we're looking into as a result of this.
That's a great goal. I think that'll be a
And
good
that
one.
is in
for you.
process.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Patrick. I really appreciate the
Thank you
information.
so much.
That's my question.
Did you have a question?
Sorry, Darren has a question.
Ditto, I'm glad we're doing this because the instant we don't care is a bad day. So I'm glad that we're asking the questions. Hopefully people are being, candid in their responses. The one question I had, and she asked my question about do you have any concerns, but was it just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or was there fill in the blanks as well in some of these questions?
There's a variety, so there was a chance at the end for them to provide a fill in the blank for just general statements like how do you think the school is doing currently. There was feedback given there as well. I didn't share any of that, I was just sharing numbers today, but I do have that feedback.
Because to me, sometimes that's better than picking a number because you take the time to actually write out your thoughts. And so if there's anything there that simmers at the top is important, I'd like to know what those are. But one question I is on the 81% of the people thought the high school was safe. Did they say why they didn't think it was safe, or was that not an option?
There was, in that question, there was none listed there. And then in the the community responses, I don't remember seeing one specifically that called out high school safety. So there was no follow-up to that point that I remember reading as to responses.
Any other questions or comments for Patrick? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next we move on to discussion items. Neola policy, we get to have first reading of those updates. They are included in your packet. Anything else regarding that, Chris?
No,
Okay.
they'll be back next month for a second reading. That's only true, one reading for each policy.
Man, I can't wait.
But
Yeah, how quickly did we make that process happen?
Can you explain what Edgar is in 30 seconds or less? Edgar updates. Is that an acronym? Who Edgar is?
Honestly, I do not know.
Okay.
If I could explain it, I would tell you.
That's
It's
your
just a document. That document describes what policies are updated underneath that. It might, in that document itself, describe what it is, but I just included it so you would see that it matches the different PDFs that are in the list. Mostly it was a way for me to help organize them. There were two different parts to that update. One listed a number of policies, like 6 or so, and then the other document, the one that has the Edgar statement in it, has another list. One of the things that happened this fall is our normal policy update person had a car accident. I think it was a car accident, or maybe it was a skiing accident. I don't remember exactly, but he had some sort of accident. The gentleman I worked with all along, and was in the hospital, and so we're really delayed because of that. And they ultimately ended up saying, we will have, someone else help you with these, and that was how it was provided to me. That's the first time I've seen that. And normally it doesn't come like that, so.
There's no problems getting all our coaches trained to use defibrillators.
I don't anticipate any problems, but yes, there will be multiple things we will have to do to comply with those changes in the
Guess
law.
We don't have a choice,
For
do we?
next year. We
That's
will not
a
have a
law
choice.
change then.
That's a
part
change
of
in the law.
CPR.
Those are implemented because of the change in the law.
It's part of the CPR and first aid training that coaches all are required to go
Yeah, they are
through.
required.
I know
that for a
Defibrillator
fact.
training is.
AEDs are standard.
No.
But it becomes state law required now, so that's why the policy changed.
And it's not, I have other questions we can talk about later. Let's talk about it from the whole board.
Okay. All right, next, Board Appreciation Month.
Yes, it is Board Appreciation
It
Month.
is.
So we thank all of our board members for giving of your time and energy and emotions in dealing like with what we dealt with earlier. It could be a thankless job to do that, and we appreciate it. We got a lot of or a number of over here more colorful. This side is not quite as
This one
colorful.
right here is Jack Steele.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I'm gonna send that over to his dad.
Kelly, why did on this side did you not put any of the
I
colorful?
didn't put them out.
Oh, okay.
That's how they were in the stack.
I-
You must have.
These board members got all black and white. These board members got color.
We're like
I still have my favorite one of all time tucked away.
It's just how the stack was presented in the paper.
But we also have some snacks over here, some cookies that Kelly went and
So what grade is this from?
got for all of you. So
Sixth grade.
Okay.
This was from the 6th grade.
make sure you all take a cookie, please.
Okay, we will.
Otherwise, they will sit outside my office door.
The kids will be there to eat them.
And Sarah's kids will come in and eat them all.
A couple for my kids, that's all right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank
So-
you.
Yes,
Thanks,
As my dad
everyone.
always says, thank you for saying thank you,
Yes.
which people think is funny, but it makes sense.
It does.
I appreciate that you want to say thank you.
You appreciate the appreciation. There you go. All right, facility improvements. What's your update for us tonight?
Just keeping you up to date. The deadline for the applications for the grant have passed, and so again, we're hoping to hear something on that by the end of February, if not, hopefully much sooner than that. The facility steering committee had their second meeting. Was that just last week?
Last Tuesday.
Wow, it was just last week. And we had a very good meeting, I thought. I thought it was very productive. Rob and Steve from Chrisman and C2AE were here, and they went through a presentation showing photographs, descriptions of the different problems in each of our buildings, answering questions from the committee members about the issues that we have in each of our buildings that were discovered in the facility study. And then we had some conversations about where we go next in terms of figuring out what we're going to do, and so we're having our next meeting, will be, either first or second week of February, and we still have to select the date, and, each member of the committee is going to be bringing in their own, so they know their own SEV for their property. And we will be talking about, different options as far as how we're going to do, come up with the money to do the different repairs, maintenance, renovations that need to be done. And then so that people can actually look at what the cost will be and evaluate it in their own terms. They know the home they live in, how it might impact them. And, you know, hopefully as a group then, that will help them appreciate the impact on the community and the people in the community. You know, what might be at an acceptable level that the community could support or what might not be. And so we're gonna have some information from our finance company about different levels of bonding and what the millage rates would be for each of those levels. And then we will begin the process of figuring out a plan, prioritizing, and move forward from there. But I think we're off to a good start. But we got to turn this over pretty quick to be done in time for setting something up.
One more thing briefly, as a member of that committee, we're supposed to come, at the end of the day, we have to decide what we want, what we can afford, you know, those have to cross at some point. So we were supposed to come next time with the top 3 things we want to see done in the buildings. So please come to me with your top 3 if you got some things that, you know, I may not know about, or things I know about. I just want to get an idea of what the real problems are. I know they presented some of them, but it's you know, we're gonna have to have a discussion and say this is more important than that. I want more feedback from all of you and others. If you think of it, you know, shoot me an email, stop me, whatever.
Yeah, same here.
And I will be taking the presentation we had at the meeting last week. I will be doing another podcast, and I'll be going through that presentation and describing everything that was in it and putting it up so that anybody in the community could watch it and listen to it and get the same information that the committee got. So, and I know we have planned at some point to do surveys. The committee will do some surveys to get feedback from the community as well.
Great.
So who's all on the committee then?
What was that? Sorry,
What
Paul.
is it?
Who's on the committee?
A lot of people.
A number of people. Would you like me to give you a list of the names? I could read you a list of the names of the people that are on the committee. Ben Chard, Adam Moody, Martha Merchant, Sean O'Con, Kim Miller, Marty Chard, Chris Mathis, Tate Goodwin, Frank Hall, Mike Iyer, Andrew, Jeremy, and Darren. And then we have 2 teaching staff members, Emily Diver and Doug Diamond, Spencer Keever, of course, myself, and then I've asked the administrators to be part of it and participate but I'm gonna be trying to limit it to 1 or 2 per meeting because I don't want the committee to be an overwhelmingly, like everybody, half the people there are employed by the school district. That gets to be, it needs to be a community committee. And so we will be limiting those numbers, but,
You have meetings once a month then?
so far that's been the way it's worked out, but I think we're gonna maybe need to pick that up a bit.
Yeah.
Going into February, March. We'll have to see. I think what we do is we do the meeting, and we'll do the meeting in February, and then at the end of that meeting, I will have some suggestions on next steps, and if the committee is in agreement, we reach consensus on that, that's how we'll move forward. So.
There's a timeline I can show you, but we all agreed to approve C2AE and Chrisman, and we agreed that part of that was that we would try to get money to do something. So the
Yeah.
question is how, you know, we don't want to spend money we don't have, but we have to at least do something.
Yeah.
We have a target, right?
So, but so far I think it's going well, and we've had a lot of good questions and good feedback.
Great, thank you. Next up is our information section, performance services donation.
Yes, PSI notified us that because through the process of the construction, Spencer Keever and myself completed the different surveys they gave us. They would send us surveys regularly at different phases. And since he and I both completed them, they offered to donate $1,000 to the school district, and I asked them to, instead of donating it directly to the district, to donate it through the Booster Club. So they reached out and donated $1,000 to our Booster Club. Awesome.
Oh, great.
Very cool.
So, and I wanted to thank PSI. That was very, the generosity they showed in making up for what the difficulties we had. I did not expect that after all of that, and they still came through and followed through on that. So I was very pleased by that. And very grateful.
Nice. Mini grant recipients.
Yeah, you can see we had a couple of our staff members apply for mini grants and receive those from the Binda Foundation. So we were very excited about that, and I believe they've already put some of the money to use.
Great. And then next, Title IX court decision.
Yes, so court in I think it's Kentucky threw out the Title IX changes that the Biden administration passed that we were all trained on and had to go through the training to follow the new procedures, and that the board updated our policies. Well, now the court has thrown them all out, and because the Trump administration is now in office, it is unlikely the Justice Department will pursue an appeal. So we have basically been advised to, until we get a policy update out, a specific change back, we are going back to using the policy that was in place prior to this past summer. Remember how it was
Yes,
divided? Any
yes.
case that happened before that date, we stuck
Yes.
with the old policies and
Yeah.
the procedures. Well, we're not gonna be using any of the new ones. We'll be going back and using the old ones if we have another Title IX complaint at this point. And, you know, until 4 years from now, when the new administration comes in place, then they ping pong back the other way,
Okay.
possibly. Who knows?
Okay. Great, thank you. All right, this moves us now to our next public comments section. This is a section of the meeting in which the public may make comments or share their opinions about Union City Community Schools. We ask you to limit your comments to no longer than 5 minutes per person to allow others the opportunity to speak. This is an opportunity for the board to listen to your concerns. It is not board practice to act on the concerns voiced during this meeting to allow for the board to do further research. Do we have any public comments at this time in our meeting? Seeing none, we will move on to board roundtable. Does any of us have anything that we are needing to bring forward tonight?
Want to talk about the track, we can do it offline. I'm saying to remind myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you say that again?
I want to talk to Chris about the track, but I didn't want to forget.
So you're saying that so I'll help you remember?
Right.
Oh,
I will help you remember as well.
okay, all right.
I have some concerns about, well, we can talk about it.
Might as well talk about it now.
Talk about it.
I've been informed, I have not looked, so that's on me, but the track is not adhering to the surface properly.
Yeah, we're well aware of that.
And they're coming to fix it under warranty because we have a warranty, right?
Yeah, they have been, and we're here to fix it in the fall, more than once. And until it's made right, they will continue to come and fix it. And if it can't be made right, they will redo it, yes.
Before the track season starts.
It is not so bad or a problem so much that we could not have track meets. It's just some air bubbles form in different places. You know, it's like you'll see a bubble sticking up, and typically when that happens, there's water in there, but in this case, they're just like little air pockets. And they have sent people here a couple of different times to supposedly get those little back down and they reappear themselves. So,
In the same spots or different spots?
not always in the same spot, no. It's not like it's the whole surface is coming up or anything. We're talking about a handful of bumps here and there in a couple of different places.
But that could be very concerning to a runner who is sprinting, going 20 miles an hour, and they hit a bubble.
Yeah, that won't happen. It
Yeah, I was
will
gonna say,
be,
they're not that significant. I've ran on them.
Well, my family has two
Oh.
on this track.
Yeah.
And it catches them, like it.
what I'm saying is it will be resolved before that ever happens. Or, yeah,
No,
there may be lawyers. If it's not, there might be lawyers.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay.
Or a camera shut off.
So the next thing is, we will be going into closed session.